Hi, John Higgins with Best Choice Lending with another tip on how to build your brand, grow your business, and generate leads. Today we're going to continue with part 2 of our CRM series. After watching the first video, I hope you get a better understanding exactly how to set up a database and some of the benefits of having one. Step 2 now is to learn how to implement a few strategies. Watch the video today, call your loan officer with any questions. Happy prospecting.
Today is part 2 of 2 about our part 2 of 3 rather about our CRM, our client relationship management system. And our CRM, what's really neat about it is that it kind of does everything. Not only do we have all the ways for you to attract and capture the prospects. Once you get them, we have lots of ways for you to organize them, make sense of them. Let's face it, one of the most difficult things about prospecting and getting leads is keeping track. And so if you want to try and keep track of who you should call, when you should call, how you should organize your prospects, using a system like ours is real helpful. And so next week, or the next part, we'll talk about setting up email drip campaigns so you can be sure to have great communication, great follow-up with your customers. So last week we talked about the dashboard. We talked about creating lists. We talked about how you can create filters and how you can mouse over and see everything on the dashboard. Today we're going to actually get into a prospect. So when you have a prospect come into your system, if you click the edit, this is what it looks like. And what's really neat is that we auto-populate a lot of things for you. So if you've captured the email address, they'll have that there. If you've captured the phone number, like let's say you have a text campaign, we'll have that as well. And then, of course, you'll want to call them as soon as possible and start to fill in these categories. I'll go through each category one by one really quick. With the email address, if you don't have that, that's one of the first things I would always make sure I get from a prospect, especially if they want you to send them listings. If you click this, it'll go ahead and launch an email automatically. It'll launch your email program. Make sure that you always edit their first and last name. And if there are a couple, you could do like Mickey and Maud, Mouse. And one of the things that I found most important is this phone number category, because as you get this, I got to call them really quick, and I was curious what time zone they were in, because when you're getting internet leads, for instance, you might have prospects all over the United States. So we created this handy little tool. If you just click on it, it opens up straight to the area code that they put in. So in this case, 303 would be Central Colorado, Denver. So just know that if you want to know real quickly what area code they're in, we use that because we wanted to call the prospects in the first 60 seconds. One of the most important things you guys can do when you get a prospect is get on them as soon as humanly possible, because we found that the close ratio just goes through the roof when you do that. So that's the basics, obviously, email, name, and phone. Now, what are these weird sub-stuff that we have here? You know, these are super important, and so let's talk about it real quick. Status. You guys can change the statuses, as we showed last week, to be whatever you want to match your market. But I like this because now you can sort by all your prospects, or sort by all the people that are current clients, or all the people that are currently under contract or in escrow, all your closed, or you could do sphere of influence, or different statuses, okay, or met at open house, whatever you want. So just know that you can change status. I'm going to have Mickey Mouse just be a prospect right now. Now, I talked to Mickey Mouse, and I was trying to figure out what priority Mickey Mouse was. And so to figure out what priority you guys, do you guys realize that people are only doing real estate and trauma? There has to be some sort of major life change. So you can edit these motivations, but it's important to ask them their motivation. So as you talk to them, the first thing I always do with prospects is, I understand you're gathering information. And typically they'll be pretty open to that. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. Okay, so let me help. What type of info are you trying to gather? Let me make sure I get you what you need. Well, you know, I'll tell you, my husband and I were thinking about relocating. Okay, so now you know their motivation, they're relocating. And then you also know that their priority is predicated on when they were hoping to reload. So you can ask them, so what's your timeline? Well, you know, actually, my husband has 60 days to take this job and find it. Hello, they're hot. So they just went from a hot relocation, and they went from a prospect to a client in that phone call. So I always have this screen open when I'm talking to prospects, and it allows me to organize all of these. Next, you probably want to ask them their address so you can send them a thank you card. You put all that here. You want to then ask them their, you tell them that you want to have your mortgage professional pre-qualify them. And so if you do a pre-qual requested right here, and then you click this little box right here, it'll take you to the pre-qual where you can add new and request a pre-qual for your mortgage professional. So what I would do is just click the add new. In this case, the client's in the system. So if you put in the last name, it's going to auto-populate. See this? It found it. Go. Submit. And as soon as I press submit, my mortgage professional gets emailed the pre-qual that I've requested on the property. And you can see the status right here. As soon as they become pre-qualified or pre-approved, then you can print pre-qual letters straight from the system. So really neat stuff with the mortgage status. Lastly, we have groups. This is great because it teaches you to not only help you categorize, but also where your ROI, where your marketing is coming from. So I got this person, for instance, from the internet, but you could do multiple. So let's say I got them from the internet, but it was also from a farm that I have. So I'm going to put them into 2 groups. And so that's a nice thing about this grouping is that you can put them into multiple groups, and you can add different group categories to whatever you want. For instance, a popular one that a lot of people add is buyers and sellers, so you can keep people organized between the buyers and sellers. Lastly, I'm going to put some notes. Talked to Mickey, have 60 days to move, need to FedEx them buyer agency agreement, and color pics on listings. So the notes section, it's going to capture the notes that we got automatically, but then you could put whatever notes you want and then go ahead and save. As soon as I save it, it becomes part of the notes. And when I mouse over that customer, we'll see that there. Lastly, tasks. This is for actions. You want to take action on a customer. I don't think anyone should ever have any lead in the system, any member, any lead, anybody in the system without a next action. Why would you? You want to have a next action. So add different actions, again, under the lists. But the ones we have here, for example, if I know I need to call them, give a next action date. So I need to call them on Friday. I'm going to call them in the morning. I'm going to call about which neighborhood they are leaning towards and how it went with the lender. Good stuff? Okay. And then what I can do is go ahead and save that, and it creates a task. Now, I'd already had one task for them, so you can have multiple tasks. If I go to my calendar system, what's great is you'll see tasks on the calendar here if I mouse over. Also, I'll show you guys how the task is on the home page. But if I go ahead and make sure you save everything you've done, and when I save it and return back, now if I look, does everyone see how Mickey Mouse is now red? How I've got these 2 categories for internet and farm. I can mouse over the notes and see. I can filter. So let's say I want to filter just by hot priority. Press go. There they are. There's my 2 hot priorities. Well, let's say instead I want to filter by anyone that's relocating, all my reloads. Go like this, and there's my reloads. So we have all sorts of neat filters and stuff. Great ways to keep track of your prospects. I'll tell you, when you start prospecting a lot, as many of you found out, if you don't keep track, then you let people fall through the cracks, and that's never good. Lastly, just want to show you how everything gets put on the calendaring system, and then you could simply mouse over each day if it's a call or an email or some sort of connect, and then you can click on it and edit the prospect automatically. So pretty easy stuff. So that's our CRM. In part 3, make sure you stay tuned for that because we'll be discussing how to set up letters and how to set up people in email drip campaigns.
I hope you enjoyed today's video, and thanks for staying to the end. Remember, you can contact the loan officer that set you up in agent marketing for all these tools. Happy prospecting.